So what is the... What's the difference between all of them?
The circle is what we thought. The whole room.
Right.
And then the butt is a directional butt. You don't speak into the crack. You speak into the other side. According to the Olympic rings are the sign for stereo. Is that what it is? Right? Is that like... I don't know.
Yeah.
Now that I'm looking at it here next to that.
But it still comes from all angles.
One guy with the option. One guy, but then you have the option for another. I don't get it.
But we have it set correct for
bi-directional.
Our purposes.
LGBTQBI directional.
This is the transgender microphone right here.
It can be whatever kind of microphone it wants. Crazy microphone.
Oh, we forgot the cup.
The lily.
Yeah. What was it?
Empress lily?
Empress lily. So
Right.
that had to be from like the Grand Floridian, right?
What do you think? Yeah, probably character. Well,
Or was that like on the riverboat? Did they do?
that's what I'm almost thinking, like a river. But what would that?
I don't remember the names of all the. I feel like Empress Lily was a name of a riverboat, but I'm not quite sure. And did they actually have
Like what I've been on
character breakfast, or maybe did they have a character breakfast on the island, Tom Sawyer Island?
Ooh, that rings
Remember?
a bell, but I don't know if I was ever there. Where is that?
That's in Magic Kingdom. You know how in Rivers of America they have the riverboat. You know, like by Haunted Mansion and Frontierland, they have that river, and the riverboat kind of goes around.
Okay.
In the middle of that is an island that basically, if you're like a 9-year-old boy, is great because it's just like running around forts and crap. So I do remember them saying there was a restaurant on it at some point, but I thought it was like a hot dog stand kind of thing.
Chicken Shack.
It could have been. Maybe it was named after.
Huckleberry Finn's.
No, was the
fish fry.
Was the Negro?
I don't know.
Maybe it was named after the Negro, and they were pressured.
I think they just called him racial slurs.
I mean, that's possible. I think nobody went on. Barely anybody went on Tom Sawyer Island after a while. I think.
Why?
They got rid of. You used to be able to rent paddle boats or something like that, and you could actually go into the river and
Oh my god! That's
do stuff.
Oh,
they had the raft. Yeah, they had the raft, and you could like you were Tom Sawyer, and then try to not get hit by the giant riverboat that came by. Yeah,
yeah, dude. Oh my god. No, when you said that, honestly, I could see having a character breakfast on like a big boat-looking thing. Like that almost rings a bell.
Okay,
is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I'm thinking the riverboat might have had like a special thing.
But I feel like that would have been the first year, like Polynesian.
Oh, okay.
Because then after that character breakfast by the Grand Floridian was like at the Grand Floridian. So,
but all that is near each other anyway. So, like, you could have went to the Polynesian and gone to Magic Kingdom or whatever. I don't know. Who knows?
Anywhere the monorail took me, I could have gone. I could have gone to the Contemporary.
Could have gone to the Contemporary, the Polynesian, the Grand Floridian, Magic Kingdom, or Epcot. Which is where you went.
I could have.
Pretty much the whole time.
All those places.
We were always a bus family. So, because we always stayed at resorts that were not on the monorail. So we were used to like using the bus system. We stayed at the Caribbean Beach Resort. It was pretty nice. They're redoing it now. It's an Epcot resort.
Supposed to be in the Caribbean,
right? So it kind of made sense. Like the movies that were coming out at the time were like it started with Little Mermaid, and then you had like Cool Run-ins and things like that. So that's a Disney movie. Hey. Oh wait. But anyway,
I thought my eyes were off. Well, we should do a low light episode. Do these dim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah. We're gonna do a little trick for ya.
Tell me when to stop.
We're still looking good. Yeah, we're still good. Still pretty bright.
Right.
Now we're cracking. Woo!
But yeah, so the only way to get from the Caribbean beach to anywhere else was the bus. So we're just so even when we
Did you get there by catamaran?
and so like the monorail was like more of like a treat, It wasn't like a necessity to get around. It was like, we get to ride the monorail.
Ooh, let's take this future technology.
It did. It felt a little bit cooler because you were able to do that. Just like that one little bit.
Yeah, that thing was crazy back in the day.
And we rarely took it to Epcot, because we were never going from Magic Kingdom to Epcot, a lot. So
yeah, you went. It was
like you could just take the bus. Right, you picked a day. You went to Epcot.
Yeah.
You weren't like going, Magic Kingdom. Then
nobody fucking dances between Epcot and Magic Kingdom.
A lot of people do it.
Oh! Well,
but I digress.
Foolish.
They have a special like ticket.
Some new school shit. I don't like.
They call the park hopper. Me and Melissa did that a lot. We park hopped a lot.
Oh!
When we went together by ourselves, just
before
because
they were married.
Before we were married, before we had children.
Take it easy, people. Oh, it was park hopping. Whoa!
Mainly because I wanted to do everything. I wanted to give her the full experience, right? So I wanted to do everything that we had ever done as a family at Disney World. Like all the things that I thought were the best. Like,
and this was for her or for you?
Well, it was like, okay, let's go on a vacation together. We never done that. And she was like, well, I've never been to Disney World, and that's your favorite place, so why don't we do that? I said, okay. So...
And you were like, nah.
So I planned the crap out of that thing. Like, just probably over-planned a little bit, but like a lot of the reasons why my family goes to Disney World is to eat food. And so we have all these like favorite restaurants and stuff. So it's like trying to fit every favorite restaurant that we had, but then also do things that we had never done before. Because I wanted to do that too. So we went to like countries in Epcot that we had never gone to, like had dinner. Like we ate at France, which my family had never done, and some other places. But yeah.
Damn straight.
And so trying to fit all this stuff in.
What'd you guys have? A croissant?
I think we had lunch in France, so it was like
a lunch croissant,
like a croque monsieur or whatever.
Oh,
it's a fancy grilled ham and cheese
sandwich. Monte Cristo. That's what I'm thinking of.
They might have had something like that, but it's like a fancy ham and cheese, and they usually put like something like a bechamel sauce on it, so like a creamy sauce that has a roux. Kelly. Kelly makes fun of me all the time about a roux because I think I was trying to make something like that once, and of course I was like 7 or 8, and I make it and it tastes gross because I didn't cook it out enough because you're supposed to cook the flour taste out.
Okay, right.
And so Kelly came home or something like that. She's like, what were you trying to make? And I'm like, yeah, I was just trying to make a roux or something like that. She's like, a roux?
You're just throwing fucking flour in a pan with that high heat. some milk.
Well, I used to watch Channel
fork.
11 like religiously on the weekends.
Yan Can Cook.
Yan Can Cook, you know,
Frugal Gourmet.
Frugal Gourmet. What's the French guy?
Jacques Pepin.
Jacques Pepin. And he used to do a show with Julia Child,
Julia
too.
Childs.
And
Sorry. That was Yoda. That wasn't Julia Child.
well, they're kind of the same. She is the Yoda of the culinary world. But anyway, so I used to watch that all the time. So I knew I had absorbed the information as to how to make a roux, but I just didn't do it correctly. You
had heard the word roux many times,
and I knew it was butter, equal parts butter and flour, and I knew to cook out the taste. But I'm like, how long is that? Because on TV it's like 30 seconds, and then they're adding the milk. But that roux's been cooking for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. So
and you were like, "When is it happening?"
So that was a culinary failure on my part. So now Kelly makes fun of me all the time about making roux.
Oh wow! Do you ever bake? Did I ask you this?
Yeah, I mean from scratch. Or out of a box.
Not like a frozen pizza. Like,
no, because like you can say I bake, but you get the cake mix from Dunkin'
No,
Hines.
I meant like you're measuring stuff.
I went through a couple Christmases we did. Like we made all kinds of cookies and things like that from scratch. So I think I helped Melissa make like rum chata cupcakes and stuff like that. So like the frosting had rum chata in it. Yeah.
Getting drunk off them cupcakes.
I think somebody, when I was
crumb cakes,
like maybe 4 or 5 years ago, somebody made those and brought them to school.
Whoa!
For like a parent-teacher conference or something. So everybody was like, if you got to take the edge off of some of these conferences, go have a cupcake.
Yeah, let's go have 2 or 3 of them cup crunks. Cup chatas, sorry. Rum cake. Ooh, rum cake. Rum ham.
But yeah, no, I don't really. It takes too much time, I feel like, that I don't want to. And I honestly prefer the way cake, like box cake tastes. Like the cake mix. I like the way it comes out. Like I prefer to like going to the store and buying like a pre-made cake or whatever. It just, the texture, whatever, it's
always super
fluffy and moist, right?
Anyone I know makes them. I've never done it. It's not so much the time that bothers me; it's all the different utensils you need. Like
that's true.
All the measuring cups and the fucking.
I don't mind baking it.
Fucking having like.
And then, but then it's like at the end, you gotta clean all that shit.
Dude, it's crazy.
That's why I'll be like, I don't want to do that because.
Yeah, Keish made that banana bread, and then after that, it was like the whole kitchen, like fucking 10 spoons, fucking measuring cups,
right?
Strainers,
yep,
whiskers.
Yeah, so I mainly try to not bake too much.
You try. I try.
I try not
as a rule not to bake too much.
Yeah.
Some of those pre-made cake boxes get in my oven from time to time.
They do. But those are easy. Those don't take as much. Like you don't have a million measuring things. You have like the bowl you mixed it in, the whisk.
What do you have to add? Water, milk,
eggs, oil. And that's it. So you measure some
water.
What else? And the oil.
You need flour,
vanilla
or something, some sort of flavoring. Cocoa.
Whatever the flavoring. Yeah, probably some kind of baking powder, baking soda, something like that. Something like that.
Soda.
Something like that. Yeah.
We're not which bakers. We're not.
But which is what all those measuring cups and things like that require, the spoons and everything, because you're measuring each those little. Pick up the box, open it, dump it in a bowl. It's pre-measured for you. It's got the flavor that you want.
Just pour it in your mouth directly.
You can get funfetti.
That is the one, right? That everyone wants. That's what I've been thinking of this whole time. I've been thinking of a chocolate one with that colorful sprinkle all over it.
That song?
Fun confetti.
You know that song, "Cake by the Ocean"?
No.
It was like a big hit, I think last year, maybe 2 years ago, by DNCE. And it's like, "Cake by the ocean." But anyway, at the end of the song, they just start naming chocolate, vanilla, something, funfetti. They just name different flavors of cake.
What kind of outfit is this that you're talking about? Is some sort of
like
high school dance drama thing?
No, it was like a pop song.
Like the band Cake from the 90s?
No. The band is called DNCE.
Like Dunce?
Sure. And the song was called "Cake by the Ocean."
This was about the band from the 90s by the ocean.
No, I think, okay, the singer is one of the Jonas Brothers.
Oh! The guitar player one?
Yeah. And then the rest of the band's from like Sweden or something like that. And apparently the translation of "Sex on the Beach," it got lost in translation, and so they interpreted it as "Cake by the Ocean." Like, so I guess they wrote a whole song about that. Yeah, I don't know. You can look it up, but yeah.
That Jonas guy really needs to get a fucking day job, man.
Well, it could be worse. He could be the other Jonas brother that isn't doing anything of late.
I think that guy is doing better.
There's three of them though.
Yeah, whichever one isn't doing public stuff is winning.
Well, he had a reality show for a while. Yeah. Yeah. It was like, so the one who's like the big pop star, right? Then the other one that's in this band, and then you got
three of them, right?
And then you got the third one who did a reality show.
Three Musketeers.
Yeah.
Three amigos.
So we should do a Hodgie and the Boneman meet and greet at Disneyland.
Outback.
At Outback. We could. We should do it the one by right off the expressway in the hotel. We could just meet in the lobby of that hotel.
Hotel's where you want to do a meet and greet, for sure.
And then if you want to have a few Fosters and just mosey on your way up.
Bloom and onion or three.
Remember at your birthday, the waitress didn't want to keep bringing us drinks, like refills, so she gave us those. Gave us the large Foster, like the giant glasses of like whatever soda we wanted, and because she didn't want to come back 100 times to refill our drinks.
And then she just put Fosters in there so that we'd all go to sleep. These kids. No, I don't remember that.
Oh,
Man,
yeah.
you remember the size of the glass.
I remember a lot of stuff about that. Like, I remember everybody getting an Outback special, and then I got a Melbourne, which was like a steak like 3 times the size of the one at Outback.
It's like the porterhouse or something.
T-bone, maybe? Or what's the difference between porterhouse and T-bone? They're the same cut, right?
A porterhouse has a fillet on one side and the strip on the other, or the ribeye on the other. The T-bone is... They're not the same, but...
Is it strip and fillet T-bone, and then porterhouse is ribeye and fillet?
Maybe.
Like it's just a different... It's like further up
right,
on the cow or something?
That might make sense. Who knows?
Look into it. That's right. Hodgie and the Boneman meet and greet at the Outback.
Oh yeah, for what? How are we? What are we greeting about?
Meet our fan. All the many fan we have.
We could pretty much offer all the fans of Hodgie and the Boneman a meal at Outback.
That's true.
Probably be a good PR scheme.
Okay.
Get them on the back end.
Oh, okay.
We're scheming.
We'll have Hodgie and the Boneman merch
Ooh.
to sell.
Let's have a Hodgie and the Boneman march.
Where we march from one Outback to the next Outback.
Yeah, we'll do it in honor of Apache Death March.
Oh my god. What other name? You know what I was thinking about? So, the other day, because, it's officially November. It's officially, we're leading up to Thanksgiving.
It's officially Homovember.
We're officially almost Christmas. It's almost Christmas. And I was thinking about when I was in 8th grade, and my teacher, Mr. Howard, was tasked with us putting on a Thanksgiving themed assembly, and he didn't want to do it, so he just said, all right, everybody come up with something to do. Read a poem, or write a poem, or write a song, or do a play or something like that. So a bunch of people did stuff. And me and this one guy decided we were going to write a song. And we wrote, Satan likes mashed potatoes. And it went, Satan likes mashed potatoes without any gravy. That was the whole song. We didn't perform that because we knew that was a pile of crap. But then that got me thinking. You didn't have
any balls, that's why I didn't.
Maybe. But then that got me thinking about Satan likes pancakes or whatever.
Satan
gave me
pancakes.
Pancakes gave me Satan?
Yep, the classic tune that everyone remembers.
That we wrote back in 1.
2 2 triple aught.
Was it 2000? Maybe.
That's right when I got a guitar.
Okay.
12. Was it 12 or 10? 12 probably.
Yeah, probably.
Because you would have got it like a year before me. I remember seeing like the nylon at your house.
Right, yeah.
And then it was for Christmas. Put the harmony on layaway. My mom did. And I don't know what month, but before Christmas. It was probably like $125, that harmony. I don't know. I want to get... I have 3 old guitars that are beat to hell and not worth playing anymore, right. And I want to get some of the things that just go on the wall so I can put them up there and then like not think about them.
You should put like little plaques underneath them, like.
It's not a bad idea.
Circa
year,
2000. And then write all the songs that were written.
Oh, Evil Shroud. Unto Me.
Woo! That was a great song.
Unto Me.
We had so many great musical ideas for that song, but we were not musically capable of doing that at that point.
I know, we were hearing it. We had this vision of what this GDC song should sound like. But we could not pull it
we
off.
Couldn't sing.
I still have that problem all the time where I want to do something.
Yeah.
And nope.
It's like we couldn't even sing the high parts.
Unto me.
And then you're supposed to do something like crazy, like, and it's like,
yeah.
I mean, you pulled something off, but
yeah.
I don't think it was exactly what we wanted.
Yes, you were supposed to nail some awesome high notes, and then I was supposed to play a fucking stellar solo,
and we couldn't do it either. But it was still a pretty good song.
We still can't do.
We could play that song if you tune down the guitar like 3 steps.
Onto me, onto me, onto me, onto me. I have one of those tapes, those old ass tapes, broke, ripped. Gotta try to tape that one. That might be the Evil Shroud one. It's got fucking old duct tape on it. It says ES. But it's in disrepair. And then I've got some of the other ones. I got like 5 tapes that we've got. Probably Satan Gave Me Pancakes. We've got Evil Shroud. Unto Me. We have like probably that take of Unto Me. That's why I remember it. Even though I feel like I remember doing Unto Me in your basement. Because a lot of times we'd be at Elmwood Park with that answering machine. But then I remember doing that in your basement. We had it like on an ironing board or something. It was kind of like packed down there.
Right.
Well, the couch is still down there, I feel like. And then, like, when we put our amps up, I don't know, we were standing in some stupid, precarious
Oh, you know what? We were on the back porch, I think, when we recorded that.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm picturing us right at the stairs. We could have been. That kind of would make sense.
Well, I mean, the back porch and the basement kind of are similar.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I remember we recorded some. Was it Evil Shroud or something? And then you played it for Paul. No, who's your guitar teacher at the time?
Paul was.
Oh, Paul.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Oh, that was great. Like, oh, you changed pickups for the last part. Like, you went, and we're like, no, you were like, didn't have the heart to tell him like we recorded that like 3 weeks later and couldn't remember the settings."
Oh my god. Speaking, okay, so remember when I went to Kuma's? Wait, did I tell you?
Yeah, I think last week you told me about Kuma's and it was empty, practically.
But I didn't tell you who I saw there, did I? I saw Nick, my first guitar teacher.
That's who I thought.
Do you remember that guy? So,
I remember you were with him for not very long, though.
Yeah, so Wallace Music was on North Avenue. That was in Oak Park back. Yeah. Just west of Oak Park on North Avenue. And before you got to Paul, the main dude, you'd have to like learn how to read and go through a fucking Hal Leonard book with this dude Nick. And Nick, since I was like 12, Nick was probably like 18 or something. Like he was definitely a young dude. When I think now, I feel like he was stoned as hell all the time because like I don't know, he just always had this very glazed, far up look in his eye. But he was a good player,
right?
Like, could definitely just one of those guys where he'll, like, do, one of those showboat and they can just pull something out of their ass, right? And, fucking he was there! It was quite the lead up, right? I was sitting there, and then I fucking see this guy. Okay, no. I see a dude standing there with a Black Label Society hoodie on, and he's not facing me. And then he turns slightly to the side, and it's this dude, and he looks no different. He looks exactly the fucking same. So this was like 11 years ago. No,
it's like
whoa, yeah, fuck, no shit.
Almost 20 years ago.
Damn, yeah, this was 17 years ago, almost 20, and he has no facial hair. Still the same fucking haircut. Like looked exactly like him. I said to Keisha, I'm like, hold on a second, I need to go see if this dude's name is Nick. So I go up to him. I'm like, is your name Nick? And he was like, yeah, and he kind of looked at me weird. He was with his girl or something. Yeah. And I was like, I started to go. I was like, I used to take guitar, and like as I got through, he's like, "Oh, dude!" And, like he recognized me, and he was like, hey,
I took guitar with you for 3 weeks before they moved me on to the good guy.
They wanted to keep you in lessons for a while, so the whole Hal Leonard reading thing probably was a good 6 months, I would guess. Going every week. Because I might have took lessons for 2 years, a year and a half maybe. Because then once high school came and football, I couldn't have time for both. But yeah, do he remember? And he's like, but okay, so get this. Then he's like, oh yeah, so you're in a band? I was like, yeah, are you still in a band? Because I had seen him maybe 5-6 years ago. I remembered after I talked to Makumas, I saw him at a bar, Celtic Corner in Elma Park, and I talked to him for a second. He said he was kind of playing or whatever, and he lived in Elma Park still. He's like, oh, you still play? I was like, yeah, I got my band. I started telling him about it. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, not really. I don't really play anymore. I was like, oh my god. Like, come on, imagine that. I mean, he's not Paul to me. Right. But he's my first guitar teacher ever. So my first guitar teacher barely even. He's like, oh, you still.
Is
ripped?
Paul still in UFO tribute bands and stuff?
Paul's dead, man.
Oh,
you don't remember that?
No, I don't remember that.
Sadly, yeah, Paul got lung cancer. Like, I don't know. I remember his wife said it was like a fucking fist-sized tumor or something and died. That was probably like, I don't even know, 6-7 years ago. So Paul is no longer with us. But yeah, that was sad. But Paul was in it like way more than Nick ever was, you know, if you look at it now.
Paul almost was in Disturbed, right?
He was almost in Disturbed. I guess, when would that have been? It would have been like 2001. Yeah. Disturbed got rid of their bass player or
he
something.
Left.
Yeah, and they needed one. They had an open audition or something similar to that.
Yeah. Before,
that was just commonplace, I feel like, you know. Now everyone does it. I'm going to do my Chris Cornell warm-ups. No, I'm just kidding. And yeah, he played bass, went in there for the audition, stood in front of those guys or whatever. Dan Donegan. Why do I still remember that name? Jesus Christ. What's fucking stupid LeBray name? What's his fucking...
I don't remember. I don't know, something stupid.
And Paul was like... Well, Paul could play guitar very well in like the Van Halen way. Right. He was like a child of the 80s. That's when he learned guitar. That's how he played, right? But he also was like a showman, you know. He was, you know, like he was going for more serious.
I remember that one concert we went to go see.
Token. That was his band,
right?
Called Token, his original band. Yeah, with that fucking fat bald guy as the singer, who like could sing. He had some pipes on him, but in a very unappealing.
But they had the UFO tribute band.
They also had MST and Michael Schenker tribute,
right?
And then UFO Michael Schenker,
And then the tribute band played first.
Oh, or Token might have played first.
Token played first, and then
MST was after. Right. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And but like he would do like the Angus, he would do the leg thing. Fucking, I don't know, the hop, skip. Like the kind of like the duck walk, Chuck Berry kind of thing. Yeah, he would do all that shit, make stupid faces and play behind his head and stuff. He was a good guitar player. Yeah. I mean, and I say like in the style of Van Halen, which is totally correct, but I mean, he could. I'm way better guitar player.
There's what is it? I don't know what it, like a website called Cracking the Code, and this guy basically invites all these guitarists and like puts a speed motion camera on the guitar and like watches their picking hands to study like how they did it, because he always wanted to play like Yngwie and like couldn't do it for forever, and then one day he magically could do it.
He got scalloped frets and gauge 7,
gauge 6. He's just playing air. He's just like blowing.
Paul had a scalloped fret.
Did he?
Yeah, it was fucking weird, man. It was crazy.
I'm sure it was.
It's fucking something. I would like to play one again just to... Oof.
Yeah. Maybe Paul really liked Yngwie, because Yngwie does a lot of that stuff. That was the other guitar player that I couldn't name like 3 weeks ago or whatever.
For the thing. I was thinking about, for the Steve Vai.
He would like do the swinging around.
Oh yeah.
And then he literally like takes it and like throws it behind his back, and the guitar tech catches it. It's like, oh my god, such cheese.
He's like maybe back in the 80s. Well, in the 80s he was cooler than Steve Vai. So he's one of those where he's still like, because
he's an asshole. So he has that persona, right? Yeah. Unlike Steve Vai, who's like this, like Bill Gates, like you guys, you like minor thirds, like that kind of stuff.
And he's like, no, diminished.
All diminished. Yeah,
that's the classical scale, right? Like a diminished.
Like he would do like those diminished, like runs and harmonic minor scales.
Harmonic minor. That's what I'm thinking of, honestly.
And then I was really surprised that he was on that tour, because he's such a dick.
Well, we said Zakk Wylde, right? Steve Vai, Tosin Abasi.
Nuno Betancourt, and then Yngwie.
And Yngwie. Damn.
Because he also did... Steve Vai invited him to do some, like, camp. Steve Vai does, like, a camp where you can pay...
Like a rock star camp, like
kind
in
of
The
thing.
Simpsons.
It's funny, but, like, a lot of people are doing that now. A lot of these older bands, like Megadeth did it. I saw Megadeth did a thing where you can go to... It was in wine country, Napa Valley, and, like, because Dave Mustaine has his own beer company now, you can get... It's, like, Tout Le Monde beer... And this recovering alcoholic is
He's not recovering. That
okay.
red-faced, bloated
That's true. There is something definitely wrong with him. There's definitely something wrong.
That guy.
David Ellefson does coffee, has his own coffee. So, like, they had a coffee tasting, they had a beer tasting.
Yeah. Well, Maynard does wine, right? They're all doing some sort of...
And so, but I remember 2 years ago, Steve Vai did it at this, like really super fancy California, like in the mountains craziness, and then like this year it was like Palm Beach, Motel 6 or something like that. It was like a huge downgrade, but it didn't cost as much. But then Yngwie was there. I think 2 years ago. 2 years ago it was somebody else. It was like somebody like, I think it might have been Satriani or somebody like that was more in that.
And you were like, why is this so shitty now? And you're like, Yngwie.
Yngwie. Yeah, I was like, who's going to be there besides Steve Vai? And it was like Yngwie. And I'm like, first of all, that doesn't seem like something that would be good. To have him do, like, work with people, I feel like he's not a huge people person. So to, like, run master classes or something like that.
Is he from
like
Romania? Where's that dude from?
He's from Sweden or one of those Norwegian countries.
Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah. But yeah, I just was like, what? But yeah, then Megadeth had one. I feel like...
So that's like a new thing. I could see that.
I think a lot of it is because there's so many people now who, like, especially from the 80s and stuff, who grew up, played guitar, have disposable income, liked bands like Megadeth, liked people
Don't
like
buy
Steve Vai.
a motorcycle, go meet Metallica,
right.
Go take a guitar clinic.
Go jam with Dave Mustaine for
I even
half
saw
hour.
Yeah, I even saw Brett Hines from Mastodon, like, on Instagram. I don't know if it was, like, in relation to the show, but he had some guitar clinic, which, like, great guitar players do that at, like, Chicago Music Exchange and stuff, but I just felt like this was more of a, like, this is a meet and greet
this is like a new way to make money, right? If people look at you in any way as you're a good guitarist,
right,
you can bank on that and be like, well, hey, come take a master class. I'm going to show you how to play this, power chord that I use in every...
Blood and thunder!
That guy from Ra showing off that progressive power chord with the second in it, or the 9. I guess technically it's a 9.
Yeah, what is that one called? Not extended.
Well, it's the root 5th and then the 9th on the top. And then it's super easy to do in drop D. You just got that, which everybody uses. It just looks cooler in standard because you gotta stretch out.
Yeah, I still use that one sometimes.
It sounds good. Throwing that 9 in there.
I brought my Friedman home from the spot last night we jammed. And all I have is that Marshall cab. But I'm going to see how it sounds through there. I haven't played it through there yet. I need to buy a Friedman. They're $1,250 for a cab.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, but the fucking head was way more. Because it was like $3,000 used after taxes and stuff. And so I'll be up to what? Fucking... If $1,250 plus tax is going to be 10% at least, let's call it $1,500 or something, right?
Yeah.
Just round up. And then I had to pay $300 to get the Friedman like fixed because it fucking burnt out on me once already. So that's $33 plus $15 is $4,800. on my amp. Holy shit. George has the Bogner, has the set that's probably around the same price.
Right.
And then he's got $2,000 worth of pedals on the floor, which I don't have.
Right.
Oof. But Oof. I think I'm gonna get a white one. They've got a white Friedman cabinet with like two different. You can either get, the front where it's like boxes, kind of box pattern, a bigger. I don't know if it's more of an old school thing. I think maybe like the older Marshalls had them, or you can do more of a modern. Just I don't know. But it's gonna be so sweet.
So about our meet and greet at
Outback.
Mm-hmm. When should we do it?
Come to Outback and I'll show you my Friedman amp. Everyone can look at it. I won't play anything.
We'll play Unto Me so you guys know what we're talking about. I think I still remember all the lyrics, but
just burned into our subconscious.
we played those songs over and over and over again, so I wouldn't be surprised if. You know what I saw? Perusing the interwebs? Foo Fighters performing with Rick Astley singing Never Gonna Give You Up.
With them?
Yeah, with him.
Because there was that thing like 2 years ago where they were doing the...
Yeah, but he came out and did it.
Uh-huh.
They were playing it so fast. He's like, dun, 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 and he's like, "When those strangers in love, I'm gonna give.
Fucking Busta Rhymes at the end.
It was hilarious.
I miss Busta Rhymes. I miss late 90s hip hop. Whatever happened to that?
The decade
Busta
changed.
Rhymes
The
fucking
decade
got
changed.
old. Took too many steroids to his cheeks. His face. Him and Dave Chappelle, their fucking faces got all roided out.
Well, I mean, have you seen that? They're like shredded too. They're like,
man, when you take roids straight to your cheekbones, you fucking. That's gonna be my new technique for this whole get in shape endeavor.
roiding out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
Did you do a weigh-in from last week to now?
No, I didn't.
Just give us your cosmically weight. What are you at?
Cosmically, I am. What was I last? 310. 310.
Official doctor.
Official doctor. I'm probably like 312. That butterscotch pie, man.
Oof.
And pizza.
Oof.
There was too many distractions this week. It was Halloween. Busting into the Halloween candy. Oh, we had a thing called Oktoberfest at the school, and this one teacher had like a band put together, and I was coerced into performing with them. But it was each lunch period.
Week?
Yeah, each lunch. It was Tuesday, so
on
Halloween.
Murphy's.
It was all like oldies kind of stuff, like La Bamba.
Saliva. I've been fucking listening to Click Click Boom in the car. It's great, dude. Try it. It's fucking great. And turn it up and open your windows and watch the fucking cheer that you spread everywhere. It's fucking great, dude. But you gotta be into it. You can't be like...
Yeah, it was like Stand By Me, Brown Eyed Girl, those kinds of songs. But
Stand By Me, Brown Eyed Girl.
Stand By Me, Brown Eyed Girl. But one of the things that they did was like they had a pumpkin carving contest and face painting and a pie eating contest.
Like blackface?
And they, of course, the kids made me participate in the pie eating contest. Which I won, by the way.
Which I begrudgingly accepted.
It was, because it was peach pie.
And you won?
I won, yeah.
You didn't even let you... So it's peach pie, so you weren't even into it, and you still won?
Like, I'm like, you got apple or pumpkin or something
Cobbler
like that?
pie. What's the difference, too?
Cobbler has that crumbly top. Cobbler usually doesn't even have a crust.
Really?
Yeah.
What is it, then? What's on the bottom?
Nothing. It's like usually like just all the fruit, and then they put that
serious?
like crumbly...
That's what a cobbler is,
yeah.
man. Holy shit. There's nothing holding it down on the bottom.
Right, it's just...
Jesus.
A mess of cooked fruit. But yeah, so it was like...
So how much did you eat?
They... I think for the freshman teachers, like, because it was every lunch period, so the freshman lunch, they ate a whole half a pie. But they got to use their hands. They like ate a whole half of pumpkin pie.
9-inch?
Yeah. Then when they got to us, I guess more kids wanted to prepare it, and they also were like, it wouldn't be fair to give like 3 people double crust pie, like a fruit pie, because it has 2 crusts, and then like pumpkin pie, which only has the 1 crust. Oh, so like some of the teachers were like, that wouldn't be fair, and they're like, well, what do you want us to do? And they're like, we'll just cut that half in half. So we only ate a quarter of the pie, but we didn't get to use our hands. We had to.
Oh, so it was just a speed thing,
right?
It was like, here's your amount of pie. Who finishes first? It wasn't. It wasn't like a.
Yeah, it wasn't
30 minutes. How much pie can you eat? Oh,
right.
Geez, that's what I was afraid you
did. No, it was who could eat this much pie the fastest.
Spoon or fork or spork?
We didn't have either. Oh, when I eat a pie.
Well, I thought you said you weren't allowed to. Oh, you had to do it with just your face.
Yeah, it was like hands behind your back and like old school. Yeah. So I was kind of upset with the freshman teachers because they got to use their hands and just
yeah.
And we're like
rule changing.
Because
like
the teachers, it like changed who was in charge of it every period. Every lunch period. But then after us, it was the same. It was just the freshman teachers got to use their hands, but they had to eat more pie. So
fucking freshman losers. I didn't know you were back in high school. Mm-hmm. I was still thinking grade school.
No, back in high school.
What grade primarily?
Sophomores and seniors.
Bunch of little heathens.
Yeah, they're okay. Sometimes.
I was reflecting on how, like, freshman year, I was still walking around with the Lord of the Rings book in school. Like, never thinking that was, like, something I might not want to do.
Well, I don't know. We came from... We grew up, like, with pop culture, like... We were very into it, so I feel like something like that would be. Weren't the movies coming out by then? Like, or they were rumored to come. They were about to come out
on the horizon, just coming
right,
out or
it was
something.
Like, yeah. So I feel like there was.
So it was like a thing,
cool.
right?
Yeah,
even though it was a book,
right? It was like Harry Potter too. Like I remember being in 7th grade, and my homeroom teacher was like, she was our English teacher too, and so she was always talking about like different books she was reading and stuff like that. And she goes, "Guys, you should really pick up this book. I feel like it's going to be massive."
Yeah.
We're like, "What is it?" And she's like, "It's called Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. It's going to be like a series of books. It's like the first one's really good. It's going to blow up." And like 2 months later, it blew up. And there's movies were in the works already, and I was like, holy crap, I guess she is right.
Well, I went to a wake the other day, and I went by myself, so, I don't know how much more uncomfortable you can get.
Right.
Besides the fact that it was my neighbor, so I'm not even related, so I don't know anyone besides, like, the 3 neighbors sitting there that I know, right? I'm not going to be, like, a disrespectful kid with, like, my phone, sitting there, and it was old school, dude. Like, I kind of do this on purpose sometimes anyway, but I was sitting there and I was like, back in the day, I did have to bring like a book with me. I always, once I started reading when I was a little nerd in like 2nd, 3rd grade, you had to bring a book with you because there was no fucking phone. There was nothing to look at. You might get lucky and there would be like a TV in a waiting room. Something you wouldn't really want to watch, but you would watch anyway. It'd be like fucking
Sally Jesse Raphael.
Yeah, some Channel 5, Channel 7.
Right.
You know, US Now. I don't even remember what those things were called. Those weird shows. The first TMZs, you know, before TMZ came around. Yeah. That would be on like 2 o'clock.
Entertainment Tonight.
That's what I was thinking of, honestly. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Exactly. And, like, we had to do that. I don't know. I think it's a skill that, well, we've already lost it, and we had it. So then Manly's not going to have it.
That's probably true.
Not going to have the, like, be able to sit there shit.
Yeah, most of the kids I teach can't do that.
Well, you would go places, like, I just remember I'd have to be like, oh, we're going to laundromat, we're going to the dentist.
They complain to me and be like, you know, this is so boring. I'm like, you guys don't know what boredom is.
Right. Like, we would have to, I mean, maybe the reason we were more active, like, you know, we had to entertain ourselves. Also, well, our parents, maybe some of our generation's parents did, but our parents didn't really like cater to us or play with us. Right. They were still like, yeah, go do whatever the hell you want. Yeah. Which is awesome now that I think about it, right? Because
right.
With the way that it seems kids are coddled these days and what happens to them.
Getting to ride our bikes to parking garages.
In the wee hours of the morning, as some bleary-eyed person going to work is speeding down the alley, trying to get to work on time.
Finding nudie, playing cards.
Mail.
Nude.
This is Grandma's. Our old poker playing, naked man looking grandma. I need to downgrade the plan on my phone to something cheaper. Like, I'm gonna get whatever the cheapest is, which I feel will definitely fuck me out of data. Right? They're not gonna. It'll be some very limited thing, right?
Right.
So it'll just force me not to. But honestly, now, if you do that now, though, you look like a fucking weirdo now. That's the difference too. Like back in the day, everyone knew that everyone was sitting there and like you had nothing to do. So there was like a general understanding and cooperation. Now, I'm just the dude sitting there while everyone else is on their phone. Or I was in the DMV last week and I had my book and I looked around. There were no other books.
Right.
And I felt like fucking they were going to arrest me just for having a book. I don't know. They're like, this is the DMV! There are books allowed in
Look at your phone!
Fucking threw it on a fire already going.
If you want to read a book, read it on your phone.
Take your fucking phone out. I want to make this experience as unpleasant as possible. Take your phone out. Wait till you're coming to the counter to take your phone out.
Yeah, when I have to do jury duty or something like that, like now I just bring my iPad and like I'm watching TV. Basically,
you're watching TV. Yeah, I mean you are. Yeah.
Yeah.
You get to watch your own TV or listen to music. That was the other thing. We had Walkmans then eventually, and that was pretty cool.
Right.
And then we were the fucking kids who would. We were the first kids with our fucking headphones on that couldn't fucking hear what was going on around us. I remember being in the car with my dad, like driving home, but you know what was on the radio was not satisfactory, so I'd be sitting there with my Walkman, you know.
Well, when I had long hair, I had those old school wraparound that went around
back here.
Yeah.
Those were new school as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
those were like the future.
They
still are the future as far as I'm concerned.
They were pretty ahead of their time when
they were like earmuffs. They went, but then they hooked around.
And so you just had that one little wire that went down, so you just had to like
just one side.
So I had
was it two?
Long hair. No, it was just the one side because the wire would go by.
That was new school.
And then so my hair would cover it, and I'd be in school, and I would just have it like that, and my hair would cover it. And I'd usually have a black hoodie on, so I just kind of be like that the whole time.
Listening to King Diamond.
King Diamond. like Motown falsetto singing, Bee Gees sing over heavy metal, or like Iced Earth or something like that. And,
Iced Earth.
And people wouldn't, like, teachers really wouldn't even know. But then, like, I was in a lot of art classes where the teacher would be like, just listen to music if you want, because this is about a creative experience. I'm going to have some classical music on. If you want to listen to that, that's great. If you don't,
that's awesome.
You got headphones. Yeah,
wow.
You got headphones. You can do what you want. So, like, 2 or 3 of my classes during the day, I could do it. And then first period, my physics teacher was so, like, he was teaching us how to build bombs and crap. He was so out of his mind that he ran the guitar club with this other physics teacher that was, like, even crazier than this guy. And it was like, they had this, like, makeshift amp that we all used after school. It was they literally built this amp, and it was, like, the weirdest thing. And I just felt weird. I felt like it was going to explode. Like, the scene in Back to the Future where Marty plugs his guitar in, like, it seemed like that. It's like, I felt like if I plugged in and I started playing, like, I felt like that was going to happen. So, like, I didn't go to guitar club too often.
You felt like something was going to explode, or you were going to be molested. Become part of some terrorist cult organization. Yeah, we just make amps here. Fucking
like
all these wires and
Iranian nationalists come in their VW van, coming to school.
I haven't watched it in a while. I think I'm ready to revisit. Because I can't remember what the chords sounded like. That's why I know it's been a while. And I definitely haven't watched the third one in, like, even longer than I feel like the last one I saw was probably the second. Mm. But I've got them on DVD and Blu-ray in one thing, because they did that for a period.
They still do it.
Okay.
Like, all the Disney ones we have are DVD, Blu-ray, and digital HD. So we have an app.
Digital HD. Like, that's better
definition.
than Blu-ray now? Or no?
No, I think it's the same. It's just that it's a digital. It's like streaming kind of thing. You have it.
Oh, okay.
There's an app.
Oh, yeah. More.
There's an app, and then I can go onto the app. Like the one we were watching this morning. Like, that's on an app. I have the DVD and Blu-ray.
They all have some sort of code where now you can go watch it whenever.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So digital HD is just high. They're high def. I wonder if the mic picked that up.
What?
Yeah, exactly. You know what's sad, though?
What?
They got rid of the Back to the Future ride.
When?
At Universal a long time ago.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't seem like
For the Simpsons ride.
What is the Simpsons? That's from the Dome? Was that during that period?
The Simpsons ride. Yeah, it came out like
that was
around
07.
Yeah. And they basically just took this Back to the Future ride, changed. Did you ever ride it?
I don't think so.
Okay, so the ride is you get into the DeLorean, it lifts up, like the ceiling comes up.
It's just one DeLorean, like, so there's 2 seats, or
no, it's like a massive DeLorean.
Okay, for sure.
Open, like the DeLorean doesn't have a hood, or top, so you sit in, it lifts up. The ceiling comes and then closes, and you're in front of this giant globe screen. And there's a bunch of other cars. Like, they all run.
Oh, okay.
There's, like, maybe 6 or 7. They're all looking at the screen. It's curved, so you get this idea that it's even though you might be off to the side, it still looks centered to you. Right.
Oh, okay.
And the thing moves, and you're chasing after Biff or Griff or Diff or Tiff or whatever his name is at the time.
Spliff.
He steals the time machine. You're going back in time, and you're flying and trying to catch him, right, to get the DeLorean back. So that closes. They put the Simpsons. They change it to a Simpsons ride. What happens? Okay, the DeLorean turns into the Simpsons car. Same ride. Now it's just
the cartoon.
Now it's just Simpsons, and you're like on a roller. The car gets on a roller coaster. Oh, you're right. It's so dumb.
It's like the modern day version of those fucking coin vibrating fucking cars.
But and that's essentially the ride. So they didn't really do anything about it.
That's for The Simpsons. I don't think that's a fair
But
trade.
the thing is, they did theme the whole area around it Simpsons, and so like you can get Buzz Cola, you can get Duff beer, you can get those pink donuts. I think they have like the Flying Dutchman or whatever. Frying Dutchman? Is that what it's called?
I don't remember that.
The fish place.
Oh, okay.
And like I think they have like a Bumblebee Man taco stand and stuff like that. But when I went, they hadn't changed all that yet. It was really close to when they actually just turned over the ride. And so like Doc Brown's fried chicken stand was still there.
What?
Yeah, and then they in the queue, the video for it. Bless you. The queue had like Doc Brown in the video, like as a Simpsons character, like great Scott, like like trying to give you some backstory as to why it's the Simpsons now and not, but also pay homage to the old ride.
Simpsons are important, but I don't think that's a fair trade. I feel like Back to the Future is as worthy of a cultural milestone to like keep that. Like put the Simpsons somewhere else.
Well, I know they got rid of E.T. too.
I could give a shit about E.T. That shit
Too much trauma.
Traumatized me.
Yeah.
I used to have nightmares about E.T. as a little child. Recurring, terrifying nightmares. Fucking
Yesterday, Melissa decided to put on a movie, and like for Amelia, and her go-to is just to put Moana on because she likes it. And I think I made a comment like you should try something, play something different, And the other day she was like, "Oh, what is that movie?" And it's called The Good Dinosaur, and I'm like, "It's a good movie about a dinosaur." And so I think she put that on, but then she walked out of the room, and I was sitting there, and that movie is so depressing in the first like 30 minutes.
Was it The Land Before Time or The Good Dinosaur? That one's
The Good Dinosaur. The Good Dinosaur. It's newer.
Okay.
Pixar movie.
Oh god, those Pixar bastards,
And,
dude! They always do
like,
that.
the dad dies
Jesus.
in like the first 10 minutes. Then the kid is like, they're like, the mom can't. It's a weird movie.
It's too much.
It's a weird movie because like it's about a dinosaur family. Okay, so it's kind of like Lion King-esque, like the dad and son have like this beautiful bonding moment where they're like running in a field and there's fireflies, and then all of a sudden they're going to catch the critter that keeps eating all their food, and they're going, and then there's like a big storm and they're next to a river and it starts to flood, and the dad's like, "Get up!" and he's like put like that, and like he's trying to climb, and then he stops, and then he just looks at the sun and smiles, and then the water just whisks him away.
Jesus.
And then the next scene is like the gravestone that they had built at the house, and it's like, what the fuck? And like,
what kind of dinosaur were they?
Like brontosaurus kind of dinosaurs.
What I was picturing.
Right. And then like, so now the son finds the critter again that was eating, because he couldn't kill it the first time, so that's why the dad and son go out to, right? He finds it, he's like, "I'm gonna kill it," and he runs out, but the thing jumps, the critter is a person, right. Jumps on him, and he gets scared, and he falls into the river, and he goes flying somewhere. He wakes up on shore somewhere downriver. He has to find out how to get home.
Yeah.
And he's like all bruised up and all this stuff, and like he can't get food, and like he like trips, and then rocks fall on his leg and he can't get out, and you think he's gonna just lay there and die, and it's like, it's such a depressing movie for like the first half hour, 45 minutes. Like how can you get through it? I don't know how I got through it the first time, but the second time I was just like, I gotta change this. I can't deal with this right now.
How was she reacting?
Amelia?
Yeah.
She doesn't
notice?
Yeah,
Okay.
she doesn't understand that. It's like if there's no music, she doesn't really
look at it, yeah.
Like Beauty and the Beast, because it's like she'll like kind of pay attention to the beginning because it's like right with the story,
yeah.
and so she'll kind of pay attention, and then all of a sudden,
depressing music.
and then the sunrise, and she comes on, she's like, because she knows that song, I play that one for her a lot, so she's like, little town, it's a quiet, and she like looks, and then she waits, bonjour, and then she's like, yeah. But yeah. So
has she seen Lion King?
I've played it for her, but then like the one day I played it for her, she was on the couch and she tumbled off the couch during I Just Can't Wait to Be King.
Oh, man.
And so we just like stopped because she was like, ah. And I'm like, great, now you're gonna always associate this fun song with falling off the couch.
Good, she doesn't need to see the whole film. That apocalypse now of a Disney movie.
I was doing some research about that movie, and I found out that it's not. They thought Pocahontas was going to be the bigger hit, so they had their A animator team on Pocahontas.
Wow.
And Lion King was the B team. I was like,
Pocahontas, when I think of it, I'm picturing some kind of pretty stuff. Like all the wind and leaves and
like
I don't know.
When you think about like it's very artistic, like the backgrounds and stuff are really artistic as opposed to Lion King. Like Lion King is really good looking. Like obviously the B team is not like me and you drawing crap, right? It's like still really good artists. Like the seasoned artists doing this kind of stuff, so it does look good.
B team, yeah.
But like Pocahontas is like way more like artsy, you know, like with the way they did the backgrounds and everything. The color scheme is like really. I feel like with Lion King, it's more
cartoony,
and like but true to like. They saw Mount Kilimanjaro and they drew Mount Kilimanjaro, something like that. You know
There's I gotcha.
Yeah.
There's no blue and purple swirl around it, making it, yeah.
The line too, the line work. I've noticed this in a lot of the later Disney movies, like Hercules and Mulan and
all the ones I haven't seen.
Right.
Okay.
The line work is very specific. Like Hercules, like the line work is very. Like Grecian, like what you would think of like ancient Greek art, right? And Mulan is the same way. It's like there's a lot of the line strokes are very like what you would think of like Japanese or Chinese line drawings or something like that. It's like I'm like, did they really think about?
I'm sure they did, yeah.
Like even in Mulan, the smoke, the way they draw the smoke is like.
I can picture it.
It's like.
Yeah,
wow,
it's the same as tattoos. Yeah, it's got that. Yeah.
Right. So I was like, wow, they really put a lot of thought into it. They don't just go, all right, it's business as usual. We're just drawing stuff.
They draw inspiration from the time period in art.
I really haven't like looked too much at Pocahontas, but I would assume like it might be similar.
Native American influence.
Yeah.
Oh well, then I was trying to think of then. I mean, what kind of African stuff is there in Lion King like that?
But I feel like there isn't as much. I feel like it is more straightforward, like cartoon. Because like Little Mermaid, no. Beauty and the Beast, not really. Aladdin, even, not really.
Not really what?
Like super influenced, like to the point where like the lines and things like that are influenced by the culture that they're.
Yeah, Aladdin, they're just drawing cartoony versions of what we think of when we think of
Middle Eastern,
Arabia,
right? Exactly. Like there's a lot of those like
the dome on top and pointy,
right? That's about it, right? But you don't see it in like Aladdin's face, like Hercules' ear, and like the way his jaw is very like Greek looking,
right?
Like from ancient Greek, art.
Yeah,
but like. Aladdin, no. Jasmine, no. They're just cartoon characters. I feel like maybe because by then they had made so much money, they could like kind of dive a little deeper. Like at that point, they were just making cartoons to make money at that point because they really hadn't. I think it wasn't until Lion King where it was like, okay, official.
Yeah, I guess they got more into it, right? Because all the older ones, Bambi and all that, they're just Disney movies in those settings.
Right.
But not that they could pull some sort of cultural thing in Bambi, like Pioneer or something, or I don't know, Woodsy.
Or Dumbo or something like that. Like more circus elements to what they did.
Yeah,
but they didn't really.
Nowadays, it would be.
So I just thought it was interesting that they took that much time and detail into doing that kind of stuff, but it wasn't until like post Lion King.
Yeah. Well, was that the biggest one ever when it came out?
I think so, yeah.
And then like since then, the biggest what's like the
Frozen,
big one? Oh yeah, Frozen, right? And that was by this point like 10 years ago or no, 5 years ago.
Frozen,
yeah,
maybe 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was fairly recent. I think Moana did okay, but not as.
Was there anything between
much.
Lion King and Frozen like the biggest?
Big? No.
Damn, that's a big stretch.
I feel like. Yeah, it was pretty much like. Lion King came out and was huge.
Like everyone saw it.
Right.
Everyone went to
everyone
the theater
saw
to see
it.
that
Everyone
shit.
bought merch. Like it was just like
musical or on ice or something. I don't know, like fucking big time.
And then like Pocahontas came out after that. Not as big. Hercules, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Mulan, and Tarzan all came out after Lion King and weren't as successful.
And but I feel like the times around these movies were longer too back then. You know, like. Whereas now it's like movie, right? And they pay attention to them for like 3 weeks in the theaters. Like Lion King would have been like a whole summer thing where like people are, it's in there for a while, and for weekend upon weekend people are going, and it just, I don't know, things would last longer because we weren't.
True.
There wasn't so much shit being thrown at us.
I think also it's like with Pixar now, you have these two like
dueling
things, even though they're part of the same company. Like, what was it? Inside Out came out the same, or no, Big Hero 6 came out the same year that Frozen came out, or one of them, right? And those are far superior movies to Frozen, but Frozen was this big, huge thing, and like nobody went to see those other ones. So I think that's part of it too. Like, like the one we were talking about, the Princess and the Frog, the one that was playing. Nobody saw that.
Yeah.
And that's why Disney doesn't do hand-drawn cartoons, like features anymore, because that was going to be the film that brought them back. Like, because they went away from it after Tarzan, Brother Bear. They had a few crappy movies with Phil Collins writing the music for them.
After Lion King.
And so they kind of went away from that, and they were doing like, really shitty movies, because Pixar was basically making all the hits for them at that point. And they were like, all right, this is going to be our big comeback, Princess and the Frog. The marketing firm said, don't put Princess in the name. You're going to alienate, all the males.
Yeah, no boy wants to see the Princess and the Frog.
I didn't want to go see it. And there wasn't anything about like the hand drawing, because it looks awesome.
I was going to say that. I didn't know if it was your TV. I was going to ask you, because it looked fucking awesome. I mean, I saw like the rolls were like hand painted and shit, but even in the background, there were so many little people, and that's a big TV. So I was like, man, on a regular TV, that's some detail or whatever,
Yeah. So it looks amazing, but they put Princess in the name and alienated, half their audience, and they didn't go see that movie. So that became the death of hand-drawn animation.
It looked good up there. I mean, I was like, I didn't know if it was your TV. Even the way it was moving, like, they do their pans, and I was like, whoa, it kind of looked 3D, like the stuff was moving like this. I was like, whoa.
Yeah, I mean, they really went all out with it, and I wish they would bring that back, but I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
The last Pixar thing I saw, it was Up. And that's sad as hell too. In the first 5 minutes, I was crying, and then I mean, at least So yeah, back in the day, they would give you a good like 20 minutes before the
big.
But they've moved it up now.
Yeah.
It just fucking hits you. And you have the whole movie to recover.
When me and Melissa went on the Disney cruise to Alaska, one of the things that was nice about it is they had like 2 or 3 theaters on the boat, and they were having constant rotation of like brand new Disney movies and stuff that was fairly new. Like we saw Ant-Man like premiere on the boat, which was pretty cool. But we watched Inside Out, we watched Big Hero 6, and those 2 movies are super emotional. Like Big Hero 6, he doesn't have his dad's not around, and he has an older brother. The older brother dies in a explosion in like the first 10 minutes, and then he's like depressed, but he finds the robot his brother was working on, and like they become crime fighters with the robot. And then the evil person is like creates this weird thing to open a vortex, and they go into the vortex, but they can't get out. So the robot has an arm that he can punch, like he can it shoots out. So he sacrifices himself. And he's like, I can't, and that was an emotional scene towards the end. I was like, oh my god, this. And then like the next day we watch Inside Out, where it's about this girl's emotions, and she moves across. She moves from Minnesota to San Francisco, and the characters are like her emotions, like one's anger, one's joy, one's sadness, like scared, and then like grossed out or something like that. And so, but it's all about like joy and sadness. Like they lose her core memories, and they got to go find them in her cerebral cortex or whatever. And they meet her imaginary friend Bing Bong, who's just like in the, wandering through the recesses of her memory, because she's like preteen now, so she don't
give a shit about him anymore.
And so they're like stuck in this cavern, which is where they dump all the memories that are going to be erased, and they're trying to get out. And they have like a rocket ship that, like, it's basically a wagon with like that's like painted like it's a rocket ship that they used to when she played with her imaginary friend, used it. And so they built a ramp to kind of, right, and they have to sing to get it to work, right? And so they're singing, and boom, they don't make it like 5 times, and then Bing Bong decides, I think we might be a little bit too heavy, like in his brain, and he sacrifices himself to go, and like he's like, I don't know, I can't remember if he like starts disintegrating at the same time that she's making it, or what is going on. But something happens, and I was like, oh my god.
He's actually being tortured on the ground.
And I'm like, oh my god, why do they have to do this to us? Like, why can't we just have a happy movie? Like, I'm on vacation, damn it.
It's like Mel Gibson in Braveheart. They're just cutting him from fucking throat to scrotum.
Oh my god. But yeah, so yeah, these movies are like
that's the Bambi formula, because Bambi was the only one where it was like bam right in the beginning. The sadness is underway.
Yeah, but you can make a like Alice in Wonderland. No one got hurt.
Or Fox and the Hound did.
That's at the end because
she leaves. They end up orphaned.
Is that I thought that was at the end that she leaves him, or is it at the beginning that she leaves him?
Well, at the end they have to split up, but how would the fox end up by himself?
Oh, the old lady. I thought the old lady left him.
Where does mother go? That's all I'm saying. It's something must have happened for the 2 little youngins to end up by himself. I feel like the mom, something happened and she was running and then leaves him. Like she brings like the dogs like I feel like after her and leaves the fox all by himself.
Oh, maybe.
And then he finds the hound dog, and oh my god, that's making me sad just even talking about this.
I haven't watched. I own it, but I haven't watched it because I'm afraid to.
Dude, that one's
I'm
bad.
not. I don't know if I'm emotionally ready for that yet.
No, I'm not
And
ready.
especially when you have a 1-year-old that doesn't really understand any of this stuff, so it's like it's not worth showing it to her.
Not
Just
worth going through that emotional.
just
turmoil.
play the musical ones because
Yeah.
at least she'll be entertained with the musical numbers and stuff like that. So. Yeah, like I was like, "There's no music in Good Dinosaur. I don't need to be depressed while she's playing with
exactly
her toys."
Yeah,
Yeah,
do not do the Fox and the Hound either. Jesus.
we have
Remember the little howl?
we have Bambi, we have Fox and the Hound, we have a whole bunch that are just like you can't watch if
howl
you're.
he would do, the little hound dog. Oh my god, how sad.
Oh man, I'm thinking. Oh, I want to get like just all the old Mickey Mouse cartoons because at least those are happy and they have music and stuff like that because it'll keep her entertained.
He's on a train.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Yeah,
it's
let's
just
get back to that, Disney. Jesus Christ.
So yeah,
Emotionally scarred a whole generation of us.
You know, if they ever build a 5th park, that's what the 5th park should just be. It should just be all the emotional,
All the death scenes. Dumbo was right in the beginning too, right? They mess up his mother right in the beginning, and then he's by himself. You just see her like chained up.
No, that's towards the middle or towards middle or the end. Yeah.
Yeah, I Dumbo was one of those that even as a kid I wouldn't watch because I knew it was too much.
I think I watched it in daycare once or something, and I was like, "Oh my god."
I could deal with Lion King because of all the stuff around the death. I could deal with.
Yeah, once it was because after he runs away, you meet Timon and Pumbaa almost right away, and they sing Hakuna Matata. So you're just like you've gotten over it.
Yeah,
there's no more PTSD
for the rest of your days. You're all right.
There's no worries.
No worries.
Hakuna Matata. Yeah. Oh, did you hear that? You know they're filming the live action version of Lion King. And so Disney just posted who the
Corey Feldman,
the actors are going to be. No, it's going to be Donald Glover. It's going to be Simba.
Donald Glover.
He's a comedian. He also is a rapper. Childish Gambino.
Right. Who's
Beyonce,
going to be?
He's going to be Simba, like the grown-up Simba. Beyonce's going to be Nala. They're keeping James Earl Jones as Mufasa.
Oh, nice.
Which is everybody's making a big deal about Beyonce, but let's
Who cares, man?
Yeah.
James Earl Jones, baby.
He's Mufasa. He'll always be Mufasa. I would have been.
Beyonce will never be Mufasa.
Seth Rogen is going to be Pumbaa, which
I could see that.
Yeah. I'm feeling like why couldn't they just kept the same cast? I mean, Matthew Broderick probably still sounds like he's 15 on a on a microphone, but whatever. And then like there's some other John Oliver is going to be Zazu instead of Rowan Atkinson. Mr. Bean.
Mr. Bean.
Yeah. So
who's going to be T-Moon?
Don't remember. Because it wasn't somebody I recognize, I think. But yeah.
What about Rafiki?
Rafiki is some
Morgan Freeman?
African guy.
Morgan
I've seen him in
Gladiator?
Who?
Gladiator? Not yet. Not yet.
It might be.
Dude, that's the African guy. That's the African actor. Is that guy? He's the African in everything.
I think he might be in the movie as somebody because they had like a picture of like 15 people at least. Some characters I'd never heard of before. I think Keegan Michael Key, the thin one from Key and Peele, is going to be one of the hyenas. But other than that, no Whoopi Goldberg and no Cheech.
Bring Whoopi back.
They need to bring Cheech, man.
I watched Sister Act the other day. Like fucking 60% of it. And then Keish fell asleep, and I'm like, I'm not gonna watch this by myself. Same thing with like Amelia, where you're not gonna watch it just for you.
Which one? The first one?
First one, yeah.
Yeah. The second one, I think we enjoyed the second one more because it was like...
I like the second one, but...
There's more music in the second one, I feel like. Or it just felt like there was.
The second one's good, but I don't know. That first one held up.
When Jesus...
With Harvey Keitel in the first one. So good.
Oh, yeah.
Dolores! Oh, man.
The first one makes more sense, like, story-wise. The second one doesn't make any sense at all, story-wise. Like, you're not actually a real nun. Unless she becomes an actual nun in the end of the first one, but I don't believe that's the case.
She does not become a nun at the end of the first one. Why does she have to go back to this school? The school's going to close.
She went to that school?
No, like the sisters from...
Oh, yeah, they come back. They go to Vegas, right? Or Reno, or wherever she's performing.
And they tell
because
her
she has
why.
that stage show where she sings, I love him, I love him. And she's dressed as the... And she's like flying around.
Yeah. But then why do they need... Because the school's going to close or something. And they just need to do something good with the program? The choir program or something?
Or they just need a music teacher? So they're like, hey, you do show tunes? This is the state of our education.
So she's not really
system.
running from anything. Is her career lackluster, or is it booming at this point in the second one? She's bigger than she was in the first one.
I feel like she's just doing that show, that like one woman show thing.
Yeah, but she was in the beginning of the first one. She's part of a trio,
right?
You know, and she's got her two. And I feel like in the second one, she's bigger than that. Because like, is anyone watching her in the second one? Because in the first one, remember, they're doing their thing, and there's like one guy sitting there not paying attention to gambling. Right. So I think she's moved up. I feel like.
But then why would she agree
why
would
she give up?
Yeah, I don't remember. You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
Back in the hood. Back in the habit.
Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit, yeah. Get it? Habit?
Leprechaun in the Habit. That's one they missed.
That was a big premise back in the early, mid-90s. Yeah. Go to the
hood, man.
Go to the urban areas.
It's so fresh.
With your, Frank Hay.
Oh. Hey, oh.
And Lauryn Hill is in that movie.
Yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt is in that movie. Who else is in that movie? Whoopi Goldberg.
Kathy and
Jimmy.
I watched... Oh, it was funny because we were talking about Hocus Pocus. I'll set you free. We were talking about Hocus Pocus
right.
And then this, and I was like, damn, I'm watching too many Kathy and Jimmy movies.
Though her on King of the Hill always infuriated me. Not her, but the character. Peggy just always made me really mad because how stupid she was, but she thought she was so smart. Just like, it just would make me so mad.
I must have stopped watching King of the Hill like one day. That was just one of those because we watched it a lot, and even on Sundays we would watch it.
Yeah.
And then...
Well, I feel like it just got bad.
It did, right? Yeah. I feel like it definitely, like, stalled. And they were out of
And then
shit.
It moved to Cartoon Network for a long time, yeah.
But
they were still doing new episodes on Cartoon Network, which surprised me.
Weird.
Yeah.
To what year?
Maybe like 5 years
serious?
ago. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. Because they would even have, like, special promos, like... Instead of doing a commercial, it'd be like, this episode of King of the Hill is brought to you by, what is it? Propane? Alamo? What was it called? Alamo? Beer? Or the beer was Alamo, right?
Alamo beer.
Yeah. Alamo beer. And it was like, it was just really odd. Like, I'm like, they can't be doing this just for repeats.
Right.
Like, why would you go through all that trouble? And then I realized, these are new episodes. Like, I had never seen them before.
Huh. That was a good show.
And like Tom Petty was on
right.
it.
Tom Petty was on like way too much. Right. I feel like that's what I thought of when I was like, I must have stopped watching at some point, and then Tom Petty just came into my head. And I don't know if I actually saw those episodes or if that was just shit I would catch afterwards and be like, why the fuck is Tom Petty on here?
Yeah. Oh, our childhood.
It's gone.
Forever.
It's freaking gone.
Forever. It'll never come back. That's fine.
So
we can always just watch Kathy and Jimmy movies. So I won't be here next week. So if you're hankering for a hand job in the Boneman episode,
hankering for a heaping helping of hand job in the Boneman,
bougie in the whole man,
you'll have to visit me yourself. I'll do one myself on Sunday.
You should do one yourself, and then I'll do one in Michigan.
I'll do a Sunday afternoon
with
morning podcast.
with one of our fan.
Oh yeah! Oh, you can. I should go to Michigan with you. We should do a travel on the road, and have Kelly as a guest.
We could.
Ooh, Tosh will be so mad.
What's up with that hair?
It's pretty sweet, huh?
It's like out of a Dick Tracy.
It is, right?
Remember that movie? Oh my god.
That was one where my little brain couldn't really wrap. I would turn it on all the time, but I don't know. Too many ugly faces.
I feel like that I saw that in the movie theaters for some reason. My dad might have dragged me and Kelly to see that one. That one and The Rocketeer. Those are the two I remember. Like,
never saw The Rocketeer.
Going to watch them for some weird reason at like the Pickwick or something like that.
I saw like a movie called Out of Time or something at the Pickwick, and it was like Denzel Washington, circa 2004. Oh, the Pickwick.
Oh, the Pickwick.
Still around, yeah?
Yeah. Still showing movies.
Unlike the drive-in.
If
you missed what drive-in was, kids, you'll have to go back to a couple episodes ago. Pocahontas, bringing it back. That's what I saw. Remember?
Colors of the Wind.
Don't you remember?
You remember.
So what's their next feature film?
Disney? It's called Coco. It's coming out on Thanksgiving.
Joey Coco Diaz.
It's about a kid. I think he goes to the land of the dead. It's like Mexican, like Day of the Dead kind of themed, which they already did that with Book of the Undead. Like, not Disney, but somebody else did. And so people are like, this is the same friggin' movie. What are you trying to pull there, Disney? And then people go, movies take a long time to create, and they were probably in production at the same time. Remember when A Bug's Life and Ants came out? Like, within like 2 months of each other? And it was like, wait, did I just see this movie?
Or what was the other one? Toy Soldiers, and like there's something the same as that.
There is?
Yeah.
Where toys come to life and try to kill everybody?
Yeah, and they're mad. They're army guys. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I guess if you can't remember one right off the top of your head, it's not that glaring, but that was one that always stuck out to me.
I remember, I think that was one of the few movies my mom took me to see was Toy Soldiers.
You did.
And I think she regretted that.
Oh, there was...
like, that was such a bad movie.
Was it?
Yeah. It had Phil Hartman in it, though, so it had some redeeming qualities to it.
And then there was... What was it? It was like... Oh, Beast Wars and Transformers. Remember
yeah.
Beast Wars?
Yeah.
It was like a tiger or
Right,
something,
yeah.
but then mechanized. I had toys of those.
There's always like weird rip-off kind of versions of everything.
Ants in a Bug's Life.
Yeah. And like Ants was Woody Allen, I think, was the voice of the ant.
Really?
Yeah. Or like a really bad impression of it. And A Bug's Life was like that
Elvis
one guy
Costello.
from that one guy from Kids in the Hall. He was on News Radio. Oh, yeah. What was that guy's name on News Radio?
I don't remember News Radio. I remember Kids in the Hall. And as far as guys that I know their name from Kids in the Hall,
He's been on a bunch of stuff.
Oh yeah, shit. I know who it is now. Dave
Foley. It was him doing kind of like, well, Dave Foley kind of sounds like
the same Weasley,
a Canadian
kinda,
version
yeah.
of Woody Allen. But I'm pretty sure Ants was Woody Allen, which is really odd. Or like Jason Alexander doing his George Costanza impression, which was basically a Woody Allen impression.
No, it was a impression. Who's the guy? Jerry Seinfeld's right hand man. The old
But I
guy.
think if you watch early up, like first few episodes of Seinfeld, it's really Woody Allen. It's like when he thinks he's having a heart attack or whatever. I think it happened. It's like
what's that guy's name? The bald guy.
Oh, Curb Your
Right.
Enthusiasm guy.
Jerry Seinfeld and
Larry David.
thank you, Larry and Jerry. So we went from Woody Allen to Larry David.
Yeah.
Poor Jason A. I don't think he's gonna be able to recover from this one.
Remember that movie he was in with the monkey?
Nope.
Dunstan Checks In.
Oh wow!
Do you remember that now?
That was like before Seinfeld, wasn't it?
No, that was
Like
during Seinfeld.
era.
That was during Seinfeld.
Dunstan Checks In. Wow.
And he wore like a toupee.
God damn it, monkey movies.
And there was that kid. What other movie was he in? Oh, he was like in Santa Claus.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That little bullheaded Jonathan Taylor Thomas wannabe.
I really like the Santa Claus. I don't know. There's
I
something
never
about
really
it.
saw those either.
It was one of my favorite scenes is when he burns the turkey and then they're at Denny's or something like that. And he's like, "We're gonna have some eggnog." And she's like, "We're all out." And then the kid's like, "Can I have some chocolate milk?" And she's like, "We only have regular." That's fine. It's like to add insult to injury. It's like, I don't like eggnog. Well, we're all out. Okay, can I have chocolate milk? We only have regular. That's fine.
Yeah, never saw that one.
Don't watch the two sequels, but definitely watch the original. It's up there with Jingle All the Way. I feel like those are Christmas movies that I try to make sure I watch at least once a year.
Well, I'll wait until we get into December here.
It's Christmas time already.
No,
man.
it's not.
Go to a mall. They already got the wreaths and
I don't care.
Santa
I
Claus.
don't care what the mall says about Santa Claus.
Santa Claus is already there, ready to hear what you want for Christmas.
We should watch Miracle on 34th Street.
Which
year.
version?
The new one with Matilda.
I hate her so much. I didn't watch Matilda because she was in it.
That's a good movie too, man.
Like she
Danny
annoyed me in
DeVito.
Mrs. Doubtfire. So like,
Damn, she was killing it.
she was. And now she's not doing shit.
Oh, fire. Man, she was like the kid.
Yeah.
You do kind of want to murder her, right? I
Yeah.
just thought of her and I was like, ah.
A lisp or whatever it was.
Yeah, she's a little know-it-all archetype.
Which Lawrence brother was in Mrs. Doubtfire? Not Joey, right? The other one? Matthew?
Wait, what?
There
was more than... Oh, yeah, there were 2 Lawrences.
Yeah, there's 3, actually. There was,
What?
there was a little one that
okay, wait, and what
was
shows
barely
were they all
ever...
on, then? One was on...
The middle one, who was in Mrs. Doubtfire, was on Boy Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Joey Lawrence was on Blossom, which was right.
Okay, wait. So Joey Lawrence is
before our time, really. Yeah.
Yeah, but I would catch it.
I mean, Kelly was obsessed with it and had I think bought that stupid hat.
Wore the leggings.
Really into sunflowers for some reason.
And then you said Boy Meets World. What was his name?
Matthew Lawrence.
And then there was another one.
There was another one, but he was not really. He was fat and chunky and and was maybe a side character.
Lumpy Lawrence.
He was maybe on an episode of Law and Order Special Victims Unit or something. God. Where he pointed to the doll. Where did the man touch you?
Well, first they called him Lumpy Lawrence, and then they touched him in his private place. Poor Lumpy Lawrence.
But yeah, so...
Damn, there were Lawrence brothers. They were the original Jonases. Huh?
Yeah, I think so.
Man. Blossom, what a shitty show.
Whoa.
What was that about? Single father, I think.
Weren't they all?
Blossom.
Was Joey Lawrence the brother, or was he? I think he was the brother. Yeah,
had to be.
Yeah, he wasn't a friend.
Whoa. Older brother. Yeah.
Because she was in Beaches. Remember?
I remember that name, but I don't.
You don't remember that movie? I don't remember what it's about. I just remember Bette Midler's in it. Two
Captain
friends.
And Jimmy.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Matilda.
Yeah, I don't really remember. I just remember that stupid Bette Midler song that was a huge hit for 1,000 years. 'Cause you are the wind beneath my... Was from that movie.
What movie?
Beaches. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, that's an early one.
Yeah. Thank you.
How many watts is that crate?
120.
Holy shit.
No, 150. Yeah.
150? Jesus.
But I have to put new tubes in it. Because the tubes, go bad after a while.
When did you get it?
A long time ago.
How much was it?
Don't remember. Maybe 1,000. Two. I have another cabinet too, with 215s in it. So that has 412s, and then there's one with 215s. I don't know why I got the 215 one. I think I got it when I was still in high school, maybe, and so that it was just to be different,
Mm-hmm,
when you're like, oh, that one has 215, so I got to get that because it's different.
I still do that. It's but conventional wisdom is that this one sounds better. No, I want the weird one. I want the weird shitty one.
Well, I think the idea was I'd like it to sound bassy, and so I thought, okay, if I have the 215s that can handle the bass better.
Oh, yeah.
And the few times we played gigs with it, the sound guys were always like, "Oh, you guys sound so lush or
so
whatever."
Low.
It's
they were like, "You got 215s in there?" Wait, was it 215s and 212s, or was it all?
No, it's one cabinet has 215s, and then that cabinet has 412s in it. That one's a regular cabinet.
Okay, so it's just 2 in the other one.
Right, because that's all that could fit in the same space that the 412s fit in. Only 215s.
Well, the Freeman cabinet has 2 different speakers in it. I don't know what the bottom one is. The top is greenbacks.
Okay.
You've heard of those before? They're a famous fucking whatever. All 12s though.
Yeah.
That looks like a fucking one of those fucking Mach 5 babies.
This one is basically like a crate version of a Mesa.
Right. That's what the Mesa would be. Because I had one of those for 2 seconds before it fucking blew up. And I returned that shit to
So when I replaced the tubes the first time, I just put in Mesa tubes because it was like, I think I went and the guy was like,
or do those use the? Because there's the EL34s, which is what my Friedman uses, which is generally the British sound, the Marshall or whatever,
American,
as opposed to the something like AX7. It's like a bench 7.4. It's A something with a 7 in there.
Yeah, because when I went to go get them replaced, like the guy was like, "Oh, whatever number I said," he was just like, "Oh, okay, like the rectifier ones."
Right.
And I'm like, "Okay, fine." And he just ordered the Mesas for me, and I put them in, and it sounded the same. But the second channel's all messed up, so I gotta fix that. Get it fixed. Because
there's the dude at Fort Knox that fixed my Friedman.
Because I had them stacked. This was back at my parents' house. I had them stacked all the way up.
Naturally. That's what I would do if I had those sitting around.
And I think I went to go move it. I went to move it, and it just toppled over. And,
are you serious?
Yeah.
Just the cab or the head and everything?
The head came down too. And but it hit the dog cage.
Oh my god! Yeah,
remember? It hit the dog cage.
One of those big wiry, 4 feet off the ground, so it didn't fall
right. It didn't So I was like, okay, at least it didn't. But then when I tried to use it didn't work that well. And we took it. Me and my dad took it someplace, and the guy kind of looked at it fairly half-assed and just replaced some of the tubes that broke. But I think what happened is wherever the second channel is, that's where it actually got hit, and had the most impact. So the second channel doesn't work the way it used to. The second channel is just supposed to be overdrive, right?
Oh yeah.
But now it doesn't work. The third channel is straight up Slipknot distortion, right? Distortion. And then the first channel is beautiful crystal clear. I really liked it, so that's why I got it. But the second channel doesn't work the same way anymore, so I'm just
what model is that?
It's called Blue Voodoo.
Oh, what's it say on top there? Bison with a U?
No, Blue Voodoo 150, 150, and then an H. That's the model.
I don't know if the mic's gonna pick that up.
But the 80s Blue Voodoo, that was what everybody really was
after crate.
It was a sought after crate, and it was actually blue. That's why they called it Blue Voodoo. But this is a remake, from when we were in high school. Yeah. So
so we're not gonna make it blue,
right? They made it all Zakk Wylde kind of.
Because in the early aughts,
everything had to be black. Yeah,
with some metal maybe, with some chrome on it. But the colors were not in.
It's not even mesh. It's the black. It's metal. That.
Yeah, the grate.
Yeah,
it's
grate.
Not
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So. But yeah.
Well, what have I been playing through? What the hell? Oh, an angle. I've been playing through a 2x12 at the spot, an angle, and it's got the grate on the front.
Yeah.
Because it's extreme.
Gotta make it look industrial.
And it has the same chrome lettering on the front.
But then, I remember Leif had, a vintage Marshall, 2 different ones, and one was, bright white, and one was, plaid. I don't remember. It was, the weirdest thing, because he was all into, those, getting these, vintage boutique things. Yeah. So his stuff was always, crazy. But he was yeah, have you heard of a Blue Voodoo? He's it's a really good amp. And I was okay. And then I looked into it. But of course, he was talking about the vintage 80s Blue Voodoo, not the
not the
now.
Modernized.
And he was kind of what is this?
Dude, no.
and then he used it and he's oh, it sounds really good. So I'm yeah, and it's crate, so it's cheap. Right. Cheaper than all the other stuff.
Well, that does look like the the Mach 5 I had for that second because it's got all that shit on the front.
Yeah.
Obviously, 3 channels at least.
Right.
That's how that one was. But the Friedman is
it
just...
It came with like a manual how to get every sound you wanted, like to where to put all the dials so that your third channel sounded exactly how you wanted it and everything. It was like, you want it to sound like you want your first channel to sound country, you could get it to sound like that with more of a bite, or if you wanted it just to be like crystal clear, you could do this. And I wish I still had that because I forgot all my...
find it online, but it would be useful, right?
Yeah.
This is the first time I'm bringing home the Friedman to my house to just fuck around with levels. I've had it now for months, and I've never...
Yeah.
Of course, like I said, I'm playing through that shitty cabinet, but I don't know. I'll be interested to see what kind of sounds come out of it. But I'm going to get the white one. I'm going to get a weird white cabinet with some sort of shit. They're all the same price.
Yeah.
But that's totally... Man, when I saw Nick in that Black Label Society hoodie, even before I knew it was... Isn't that fucking funny, too? It's like he came out of a time capsule, looked the same, wearing that hoodie, fucking standing in Kuma's, and he doesn't even play guitar anymore. Ooh. It's nuts. That's like one of your... That's as good as an idol dying. I think one of the guys that taught you guitar no longer plays guitar, you know?
I guess so, yeah.
Paul would still be rocking it.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
With that, he probably have a gray mullet by now. I was trying to explain to Keish, obviously I got on the topic right after that, and Paul had a mullet.
Yeah.
But when, we met Paul, it was 1999, 2000, and having a mullet then... You would call it out. You'd be like, that guy had a mullet, but it wasn't what it is now. I feel like the 80s were close enough that you could clearly look at this guy and go like, oh yeah, he's just that old.
Right.
He's in his mid 30s.
Right.
And it's the year 2000. But he had like the Jerry curl. Like his hair was never dry.
Right.
And it was always wet. Whatever he used.
Soul Glow.
Some sort of Jerry curl pomade or something. Something that didn't keep it hard, but it pushed straight back. And then he had the curl, man. It was the curliest fucking mullet.
Yeah.
That dude rocked it. He was stoned as hell too all the time. Man, he should have given me a scallop guitar. I want to play one of those now. Oh yeah, I think it was probably like a Hammer or something because he used to work for them.
Yeah.
Do you think? No, it would be the same. I was gonna say, would the frets get worn down more? But it'd be the same because the string doesn't rest on the fretboard.
Right. Yeah.
But you get all that sweet. Your finger would never touch fretboard, so you get all that sweet movement, all that sweet vibrato.
Wouldn't it be harder to do vibrato and stuff like that?
No, you're on the string, right? You don't have the drag. You don't have that.
Well,
that's what
for maybe like
they can't help
more
the drag.
like not necessarily vibrato, but like the wow that kind of
feel
vibrato.
Different for sure.
That kind of vibrato would be easier, but I'm saying like just straight up BB King vibrato, yeah, where you're like actually kind of bending the string a little bit, but like
subtle
vibrato, like just to get the
right,
like that would be hard. I feel like.
Well, let's bring Yngwie in next. That's what I'll do. I'll do one with Yngwie next week. We'll go over the benefits of his setup.
We're gonna do a little weekend retreat at Outback.
Should I meet you at an Outback in Michigan next Sunday? Is this what we're doing?
I'm pretty sure there is one in Ann Arbor. Yeah.
I drive all the way there. I only go to the Outback and don't go to Kelly's house and then come back.
Yeah, you don't go to the birthday party. You just
not invited. Take him to the Outback.
Record our podcast from there.
Take him out back and shoot him.
But yeah.
Think you're gonna, if you're at 312, you got 12 pounds.
I have a month.
25 days or some shit.
With Thanksgiving.
Bad days in there.
Real bad days.
Like, call them at least 3. We'll call the time around.
I mean, obviously, this weekend is not going to be good because we're traveling. So when Krugers go on road trips, we always hit up Cracker Barrels at some point in the trip. And that's just not good for a diet. And then, of course, Thanksgiving. And then we celebrate Thanksgiving that whole, 4 days of that weekend. So from Thursday to Sunday morning, we're pretty much in Thanksgiving mode. Little Black Friday in between there, but yeah. So it's going to be real tough.
Well, I'm up to 177, so I was down to at least 167. I'm up 10 pounds. So, there. We both have to lose 10. I'm going to whoop your ass, dude. I'm challenging you right now. I'm going to whoop your ass.
I was listening to the Church of What's Happening Now, the Joey Coco Diaz podcast.
Soon
and he was
Disney star.
Soon to be Disney feature film, animated film star. Actually, I think it's a Pixar movie. I think it's technically a Pixar movie, but whatever. I saw it. Toys R Us. They have, because part of the thing is he plays a guitar. They have the guitar, but it's not like one of those crappy push button where it's 4 buttons and it plays a song. It looked like you had buttons for every fret and string, and you could literally strum it. I thought it was pretty cool. But anyway, back
all the way down
for a good portion of
7 frets,
something
8.
like that. It looked like a real legit guitar. I wanted to buy it for Amelia. Maybe I'll get it for Christmas or something. Not that she will actually do anything with it, because she has that piano upstairs and she just goes blah blah, and then
she's a
goes
guitar
away.
Player. She's not.
I think she's a drummer actually, because I showed her a video, I think, of somebody drumming, and she got really excited. She was like, "Oh yeah!" She was just focused. Every time the drummer came up, she's like, "Yeah."
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that's what she's gonna be into. But back to the podcast, he was talking about how he was a car salesman, and what the owner or whoever was the manager or whatever would make them write a daily goal, and they couldn't sell a car until they wrote down this goal. So he could be in the middle of a sale, and the guy would be like, "You didn't write your goal. You got to come in here. This guy's going to take them for the test drive, and you got to write your goal, or else you don't get to go out and make the sale." And so he does that. He says he did that every day, not every day, but once a week or whatever, when he was doing comedy, to keep him motivated. And then he says yeah, I still do it once a quarter, every 3 months or so, something like that, to just to keep him on the narrow. I was thinking maybe we should do something like that, make it a weekly goal, hit the gym 3 times this week,
right?
Instead of making them really far out there.
It's a vague idea,
right?
It's a goal without the way to get there,
right? Lose 10 pounds or 12 pounds by the end of November, but not really putting anything in place,
right. None of the
having ideas get back to what I was doing. But that's hard now. I don't know why. It's just been really hard. You go and then 2 steps back for whatever reason. Right now it's been like that. I don't know why.
I feel the same way. It was really easy for me. I wasn't eating much, and I was eating well, and then
all of a
working
sudden,
out, and then within the last 3-4 weeks,
right.
I've been eating way more, moving around way less. I think the weather the last week has really been messing with me as well. Yeah,
it's been raining. It's been cold. It's been not ideal.
No, but that's a good idea. Just do a weekly, pick an amount and try to do it. I always hear Rogan will be like, yoga I dedicate 2 times a week. I'll try to get in 3, but 2 I have to. And you can just tell he's got these certain things and he does them. It's pretty much what I can tell any successful person actually does, is just say these things and then try to get them down.
Right.
But the first fucking step is trying to get down.
Right.
Or professing it on tape thing.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like, try to just like Sunday nights figure out like what should the goal be for this week, and then make sure that happens. So even if like Monday through Thursday I didn't hit it, I got to make sure Friday, Saturday, Sunday I hit it. That kind of thing.
Maybe also, like, since now, yeah, like, we both got out of like the this is our mindset thing, you know. Maybe like doing one thing at a time again. Like this week, I stricken pie from my diet or something, or I won't eat bread this week or something. Right. You know, getting back to like at least one thing. Because when I was doing that, it was easier too. I just basically stopped eating bread, and I knew whatever, and that just kind of dictated all my fucking decisions, and it was easier.
Right.
So maybe,
I think maybe that's the thing too. Is like, yeah, I started, but I didn't start
all at once,
and I wasn't like taking supplements, and I wasn't doing this, and I wasn't. It was just like one little thing, like, oh, okay, no sugar, no carbs,
and then we built up to,
and then it was like, okay, now we're
MCT
oil, and okay, now it's intermittent fasting, and it's like it was built up to a point, and then now
jump back into that top level where you were, even though we've got to get like the other shit. Because I'm not eating MCT oil in the morning anymore. I've got to go on it and get some more of that.
How was that one?
It was pretty good. I mean,
cinnamon.
Yeah, it was slightly cinnamony. I don't know. I think that coffee is pretty strong. So then, I think it like.
We had Cinnabon coffee if you wanted some Cinnabon coffee.
Jesus. Cinnabon coffee.
Yeah, it has cinnamon flavor
and frosting in it.
God, those things are addictive.
So I bought potato buns, hot dog buns, because I did buy the cheese-filled Oscar Mayer hot dogs yesterday at the thing. So besides that, though, I don't have any bread. I bought flour tortillas, so I gotta eat those. So I guess besides those buns, I'm not doing any more fucking bread. It's out.
And you're gonna have your last piece of butterscotch pie today.
I've got the pie. I still have like half a banana bread loaf. But I've got to start small too, to just stop doing the shit.
Yeah.
So I think Pop is out too. Pop set me off. I swear to God, that challenge too. All those different sugars and like tasting 5 different pops at once. Yeah. It set something off in me where I'm just fucking sugar crazy. Alright, so that's my new thing. I'll go back off Pop. No more of that. Besides the bread I have in the house, no more of that. That's pretty much, I think, all I can do right now. It's been too shitty to run.
Yeah.
Even though I want to be that kind of person where I'm impervious to the weather as far as running. I wanted to go.
I've been wanting to go out for walks for the last, like, early in the morning, like wake up at 4 and go for a walk, like an hour walk. But like her sleeping, she's been waking up crazy weird hours and stuff, and it's just like I don't know if I can fit it in. Like so I just go like. Or she'll wake up in the middle of the night and like I won't be able to fall back asleep for like a few hours, and I'm like the alarm goes off and I'm like I'm just gonna take my sleep. I need my sleep kind of thing. But I gotta get out of that. I gotta be like just do that. So I think I'm gonna try to go for a walk 3 times this week, at least for an hour. Because like that in the summer too, I was going on like 2.5 hour walks with her. Yeah, so it's like at least get an hour walk in 3 days a week, and then hit the gym one day. Okay. At least one day.
3 walks, 1 gym. I dig it.
Because I think the gym is harder to get to, but the walk I can just freaking put my shoes on and go.
Well, that's what I was like in the run idea too, because you don't need anything. You just get the shoes on and get out.
Yeah.
All of it falls to shit at once. My eating went to shit, and then the walking and running outside all went to shit. It's like you don't lose part of it. It's all that's what. So we'll build it back up, piece by piece here. So I'll make the long term. So Thanksgiving, try to drop 10 pounds. No, not Thanksgiving. End of November. That'll give me another week after Thanksgiving, right?
Yeah.
To get down to 167. And then I'll, besides the potato bread I have,
and flour tortillas and banana bread.
Yeah. Tortillas, though, yeah. I feel like tortillas I can keep in my diet. I don't know. I mean, I would eat corn more likely, but
right.
People around me eat flour, so it's just easier to buy. They're good too. I mean,
they're I feel like flour tortillas, I only like them for fajitas and for quesadillas.
Yeah. Quesadillas.
But anything else, I prefer corn.
I made some bacon, egg, and cheese.
Fajitas.
I guess.
Fiatas.
Yesterday in there, yeah, it was good. I would say probably better than in a corn tortilla. As far as like breakfast foods.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true.
I think flour's the way to go. But if I have, I don't know. Fajitas is true too, but if I have like tacos though, just tacos, I want corn.
Right.
Or any sort of.
Like Uncle Julio's? Have you gone to Uncle Julio's? Like their flour tortillas are like,
Wasn't that where the Baptist?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Whatever it was, baby shower. Whatever.
The baby shower was there. I mean, those flour tortillas, like, especially when they're fresh, because they make them like constantly in house. Those are amazing. But like, that's like the only time I'm like, yes, flour tortilla. Like, I want to eat more of these kind of thing. If other than that,
I like got to be chorizo too. So chorizo and eggs, I like a flour tortilla.
Yeah, I can go either. I can go either or with that.
But well, corn tortillas aren't that good for you either, right? They're pretty much both.
I mean,
flour's probably worse, maybe because it's gluten. They always say that white flour is like pretty much the worst thing you can do.
I think corn tortillas are gluten free, so if you're one of those people, you can go with the corn.
And no pop. All right, I'm off the pop too. Shit. Damn it.
All right, we're gonna call it and go have some butterscotch pie.